problem right now is that our leadership on the highest levels isn't thinking like that. They don't take into consideration that this is where the majority of people, and it may not be the vast majority, but a large majority of people live. They live in the Twitterverse. They live in the era of the podcast, and everybody's got a smartphone, and everybody has a Facebook page, and they don't take advantage of that. Our academy, while I love our academy and I am a member of our academy, I am frustrated with our academy. And to put a fair spin on things, I was a big part of the academy. That's where we met, and I did a lot of things as a student that, and had an opportunity to talk to people and try to contribute. But it never went anywhere. They would ask for my opinion and then not do anything with it.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have to worry. Nobody from the AAFP ever listens to this show, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it does make me sad, and I've written blog posts about it before, and it's not just our academy. I mean, I think organized medicine at the highest levels have really lost touch with their membership. Now they're really in the Beltway. They're disconnected from the rest of the membership, and it makes me sad because there's a lot of good people out there, and they're just playing politics. Even though that's where you and I met doing organized medicine, I see it's kind of drifting away from that and trying to find another model somewhere and saying, hey, there's got to be somebody else or another organization that has the same values that we do, and just does not play politics just to play politics. And it's very sad. It makes me very sad to say that and to write about it. But I think it has to get out there, and I know that you and I are not the only people that think like this.
The thing that I hear, or I guess the lack of hearing, is the key. The most is nobody's talking about the academy right now. And even the people that are dealing with it day to day just don't. There's almost an apathy about it. If there's any sentiment, it's usually negative. Just like you said, that they're not representing us, and they're not. I don't know, that they're not listening to what we're saying. And to an extent, I think there are other issues at work. I was always on the fringes. But that's why I don't know if they were joking or not, but that's why they said they kept me around, was because of that. I laughed at that at the time, but truthfully, somebody's got to do it. And if you're not afraid to do it, and you're not afraid of those changes, and you're not afraid of becoming something more than just a figurehead, you have to have somebody that's willing to jump out there and stick their neck out. It allows for the organization as a whole to be safe and insulated, but at the same time, if people take off with it, then you can just follow it. And unfortunately, they just didn't follow. I've been following your blog since before your big reveal, actually. Your reveal of your true identity, your Superman outing. And so, I've actually been a lurker for most of my medical career, and following the medical blog community. How I knew that I wasn't alone, that whole Radio Free Europe idea.
That's right.
You're not alone. There's somebody else out there that thinks like you. There's somebody else out on the fringe, and somebody who's actually doing something about it.
Yeah. And the frustrating part, and is that we were there, we were in it, we were in the middle of it, and you can only try, or I can only try change for so long. I can only bang my head against the wall for so long, and say, hey, they're not listening, they're not choosing to listen, they're too afraid of change. I can go over here to this spot where either I'm by myself trying to innovate, or I try to find people who think the same, and we can get together and try to do something great, rather than trying to fight the status quo, which you can only do for so long, because if you don't find enough allies, trying to innovate, then and you're by yourself, then just forget it. And I think that is what has happened a lot to organized medicine, is that just the people that are there, the power people, are not going to leave, and they have successfully insulated themselves from any kind of change, and they've done that. So, and it's sad because they have lost touch with with the grassroots, with the people who are going to work every day, seeing patients every day, and not in the walls of Washington, D.C., trying to play politics and be a better lobbyist than another organization. And that's sad.
Right. And that idea that, and it's kind of how, again, not to jump into this, but it's the same thing that I've seen for years with just our government in general. And it's almost like the academies have become more and more like a political body, and less like a representative body that sort of pushes out the new and cutting edge information to the rest of the members.
No, I agree with that. I believe that shift was happening when we were there. When I started that stuff, there was a lot of stuff about clinical information, about this disease process, or this group, or this unique group of patients for family medicine. But as we have gone through, they have shifted their emphasis more on politics, which I guess is good in some aspects, but is not good in other aspects. But yeah, I mean, that definite shift has happened, and it has completed, and I hardly hear anything anymore of any kind of clinical advocacy for much of anything for patients.
Exactly, and it seemed like at the time, and this is one of the things about the PAC that I was really kind of excited about, was that there was a push to be that voice for the patient, and that's but only at the political level, and that was what the lobby was going to be about, and it was going to be about making sure that the patient's voice was heard along with the physician's voice, and that just didn't play out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, so you're going to be going to the big family medicine meeting in the summer. It takes place every summer. So you're going to be going back there, I presume, probably doing some recruiting from for your program, and trying to meet the people, meet the students, and try to carry on the good tradition out there in Greenwood.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I don't know. That's what it's reduced to for me. I used to get excited in medical school about going to conference because it was a chance to do all those wonderful things that we talked about. Being in that voice and that advocate, and learning about the science and those kinds of things. But this time around, it's a recruiting trip, and I'm sure there will be other things there that will pique my interest, but that's not the main reason I'm going.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else to cover on this before we move on. I think I've said I'll need to say right now. I mean, of course, I'll probably still be writing about it, and but it's interesting that I didn't know that you were a lurker for a long time. That's humbling to me, just hearing somebody say that, because I never know who's out there, and let alone people that I know that are out there. So that was very nice for you to say.
And like I said, I try not to say things that aren't true, but in that case, it's not. I have always looked for